The movie opens on Pandora with Jake Sully reviewing his life since becoming the Oona clan head and joining the Na'vi. Along with another adoptive daughter, Carrie, who is the legitimate daughter of Grace Augustine's Na'vi avatar, he and Neytiri have become parents to Neytiri, Loak, and Tuk. The children also interact with Spider, a human boy who was abandoned by the human scientists after the previous group of people left Pandora since infants couldn't be frozen in cryostasis. The kids consider Spider to be sort of a relative, although Neytiri feels the youngster would be happier with other people, partly because she herself despises the Sky People. While everything appears to be perfect, Jake's joy is abruptly dashed as RDA shuttles start to descend upon Pandora, razing large portions of the forest and wiping out the animals. While rescuing their children and the other Na'vi, Jake and Neytiri hold their wife while they gasp in horror at the destruction that has been left behind. Colonel Miles Quaritch awakens in his own avatar body 1 year later. After seeing a video log he recorded before his team's previous failed mission to destroy the Na'vi Tree of Souls before they were all slain, Quaritch quickly learns what occurred as he kills his old friends, all of whom are now wearing their own Na'vi skins. Quaritch makes the decision to take a group back onto Pandora with the sole purpose of killing Jake after obtaining their new weapons. The RDA has colonized Pandora and established Bridgehead City as well as a mining base there. Jake commands many Na'vi to use their equipment to fly attacks against human supply lines and aircraft. In their attempt to join the fight, Neytiri and Loak almost suffered serious injuries. Jake rescues them, but not before reprimanding them for placing themselves in harm's way. Along with the rest of the tribe, the party heads back to their camp. Jake and Neytiri talk about the effects these changes are having on their kids' lives. Spider goes to the Human Research Center with Loak and Carrie where Norm Spellman and Max Potel resume their study. As Grace's body lies in the tank, Carrie converses with her avatar. Spider continues by pointing out that unlike his Na'vi pals, who at least know who their parents are, he does know and dislike who his father was, Quaritch. When Quaritch and his squad arrive at their base, General Francis Ardmore greets them and provides an update on their activities since he has been dead. Before explaining how they can take control of the situation, Ardmore lets them know the advantages the Oona have over them. At the precise same moment that the squad reaches the woodland, Spider and Jake's children are playing there. The other children notice Quaritch and his team as they inspect the previous connecting unit for the humans and their avatars while Carrie disappears into the wilderness. Inside the AMP suit where he was slain, he discovers his bones. When the bad guys locate the kids, they immediately recognize them as Jake's children due to their 5 fingers. After meeting Spider, Quaritch discovers that he is the boy's father. While taking the other youngsters prisoner, Quaritch summons Ardmore and her team to the scene. The moment Jake and Neytiri arrive on the scene and see their arch-enemy alive and in an Na'vi body, they are both in disbelief. Before Quaritch's team starts firing, Neytiri kills some of them. She and Jake are able to reunite with their children, but Quaritch and the remaining members of his team retreat, taking Spider with them. Quaritch intervenes and decides to approach Spider in an effort to gain his trust rather than allowing Ardmore to torture the youngster in order to compel him to provide information about where the clan is located. In order to avoid being subjected to an experiment by the scientists, he persuades Spider to travel with them on their mission. Neytiri and Jake have a conversation about having to leave the tribe because they are now the target. While Jake convinces Neytiri that staying put is best for their kids and the rest of the tribe, Neytiri does not want to leave her house. As he departs the clan with Neytiri and their kids, he transfers leadership to another warrior named Tarsum. The Na'vi Metkayina clan's ancestral home is on the eastern seaboard, hence they fly their Ikran in that direction. The clan comes together with Tanawari, their chieftain, and Ronald, his expectant wife. While Ronald and other tribesmen are quick to look down on Jake and his children because of their half-human lineage and the possibility that they may bring their dangers to this place, Jake asks for sanctuary on behalf of his family. Tanawari, however, acknowledges the Tawar Yakmakto's success and permits them to stay. He also gives instructions to his children Oona and Neytiri to teach Jake's kids how to adjust to their oceanic environment. Spider serves as Quaritch and his team's translator for the Na'vi language, which they are still learning, as they lead Spider through the forest. Quaritch also succeeds in forging a stronger bond with his own Equine than the Oona did. Oona and Neytiri are joined by Jake's children as they explore the reef with Oona and Roxo. Neytiri demonstrates how they bond to the aquatic species in a similar way as the Oona link to their own animals. They converse with them using sign language. However, Loak is immediately pulled through the water and knocked off as he tries to connect to a creature. Carrie, who has a closer bond with the animals, assists one of them in interacting with Took. The Churak, which can move both underwater and in the air, is demonstrated to Gyke and Neytiri. Loak approaches Neytiri, who demonstrates to him how to improve his underwater breathing. He also uses aquatic animals that breathe when they are lying on their backs to move him and his sisters deeper. But because Carrie is viewed as a half-breed, Oona and Roxo are hostile toward her, which causes Loak to punch Oona in the face. When Neytiri enters the altercation with Oona's companions, Jake reprimands his sons for their misbehavior. Loak is compelled by Jake to apologize to Oona. After he does, Oona invites Loak to go hunting with him and his companions. They make it all the way till they fool Loak into pursuing a beast, right before an Aquila attacks him and his prey and kills his mount before pursuing Loak. The Aquila tries to go for the kill despite Loak's attempts to swim back up before he runs out of breath, and only a Talcan named Pyakin can save him. Following Pyakin, Loak discovers a harpoon lodged in his fin. By removing it, Loak wins Pyakin's trust. Carrie, who has been feeling different recently as a result of what she has been seeing, is addressed by Jake. She asserts that their deity Iwa's heartbeat is powerful and that she can sense it. She is given the reassurance that she is healthy from Jake. The group then witnesses Loak's return. Tanawari chastises Oona for having taken Loak beyond the reef when it was banned, but Loak takes the fall for everything to protect Oona. Jake warns Loak that his behavior has brought dishonor to the family, but Oona learns to respect Loak. Loak shares his experience with Pyakin with his siblings, Neytiri, and the other Metkaina. Neytiri then informs Loak that Pikayan is regarding as an outcast among the other Talcan. Neytiri leads the others to the cove of their ancestors and shows them how the land appears during the eclipse after Loak tries to speak with Pyakin to discover more about his past. She also directs them to the Metkaina Tree of Souls underwater. Carrie is able to see and speak with grace when she connects to the tree. But shortly after, Carrie had a horrible seizure, and her siblings return her to the shore. Before Rana tries her hand and is able to resuscitate Carrie, Jake has Norm and Max try to aid but they are of no use. Jake is informed by Norm that Jake may be experiencing images as a result of frontal lobe epilepsy. Unfortunately, Quaritch learns from his teammate Lyle Wainfleet that Norm and Max's gunship was detected by a radar. When the villains discover that Captain Mick Scoresby and Dr. Ian Garvin are running a whaling ship, it gives them the upper hand because they are already after Talcan for his anti-aging secrets. The Talcan, especially Ron and her soul sister Roa, and the Metkaina form a close friendship. Soon Quaritch and his group will arrive. They brutally murder a Talcan and threaten a Metkaina woman if they don't reveal where Jake and his family are. Spider cries out in horror and begs his father to stop. The bad guys then start setting their houses and trees on fire. To entice Jake to them, Quaritch commands his men to attack. Loak seeks to find out from Pyakin what he done to make him an outcast once more. Pyakin opens his mouth, allowing Loak to connect with him and enter. Pyakin assaulted the whalers because they killed his mother and family, as seen by Loak when he views Pyakin's memories. To avoid further alienating the Metkaina, Loak tries to tell the Metkaina about this new information, but Jake tries to silence him. When Loak discusses this with Neytiri, she has faith in him. The whalers shoot inflatable-filled harpoons at the Talcan, including Roa and her infant, piercing their fins as they launch their attack. When Ronald and the other Metkayina arrive and take their material from her, Ronald cries out in pain at the death of her soul sister and her kid. Along with a large number of enraged Metkayina, Tanawari and Ronald blame Jake for bringing the bad guys to their territory, as they predicted would happen. Jake instructs the Metkayina to alert the Talcan before more of them are slain after pointing out that they will be marked for death with the whalers' trackers. Neytiri cautions Loak against going to warn Pyken, but Loak still goes. He goes after his brother, then Zaria, Oona, Carrie, and Took. They come across Pyken, who has previously been tracked. After alerting Jake via a phone call, Jake and Neytiri set out to save their children. Attacking first, the whalers target Talcan and the children. Metkayina warriors join Jake and Neytiri in the battle. During the struggle, the children are taken prisoner and kept on the boat. Quaritch commands him to stand down when Jake and the others arrive, holding Loak at gunpoint to demonstrate his seriousness. Jake is about to give up when Pyken notices that his soul brother is in danger. As a result, he rushes out of the sea and smacks down into the ship, bringing numerous whalers with him. The Na'vi take advantage of this opportunity to attack. They are able to slay the majority of the whalers with the aid of Pyken and the Metkayina. When Scoresby tries to harpoon Pyken, the guy succeeds in wrapping the wire around their boat, killing the crew and also severing Scoresby's arm. Carrie utilizes her abilities to control the ocean environment to kill some whalers after the kids escape. Spider turns against the other humans as well and reunites with his Na'vi clan. Neytiri saves his siblings and their friends during the conflict, although he is wounded. When the family arrives at a rock, they make an effort to aid Neytiri, but he passes away from his injuries. The rest of the family is crushed, and Neytiri weeps in sorrow over the death of her son. Quaritch reveals to Jake that he is holding Carrie and Took prisoner in a phone call. Jake enters the sinking ship with Neytiri, Spider, and Loak for the decisive fight. As Jake approaches his adversary, Neytiri brutally slaughters Quaritch's men as payback for Neytiri. Quaritch appears with Carrie and a knife to her throat after Jake frees Took. Spider gets grabbed by Neytiri, who then threatens to kill him. After Neytiri cuts Spider across the chest, Quaritch concedes and allows Carrie to leave despite his initial attempts to hide his concern for his relationship with the youngster. Jake resolves to put an end to the situation by having Quaritch fight to the death after Neytiri rescues the children. The family is submerged as the ship begins to entirely come down. Quaritch is fought by Jake until he is able to put him in a chokehold and allow him to submerge. When Loak finds his father, he is told to leave without him because Jake doesn't believe he will survive. However, Loak helps his father breathe by using the technique Zaria taught him, and they escape with Pyken. In the meantime, Carrie calls forth the sea life to assist her in rescuing Took and Neytiri. Spider dives into the water to save Quaritch, but he deserts him because of his terrible deeds and returns to Jake's family, where Jake formally adopts him as a son. Tanawari informs Jake that he and his family are now Metkayina and are welcome to stay as Jake gets ready to say goodbye to him. After that, Neytiri's family performs a funeral for him and learns that he has joined Iwa after being handed to the Tree of Souls. When Jake and Neytiri connect to the tree, Neytiri is visible to them there through memories. Jake makes a promise to keep fighting for and defending his family since he recognizes this place as their new home. Years after becoming the Oona clan head and joining the Na'vi, Jake Sully has established a family with Neytiri, their children Neytiri, Loak, Took, and Carrie, who was actually the biological daughter of Grace Augustine's Na'vi avatar, as well as a human boy named Spider. By invading Pandora and forcing the Na'vi to evacuate, the RDA return to disturb their peaceful existence. Jake will lead warriors to battle them and destroy their supply lines. Because of this, the RDA is forced to awaken the avatars of their dead mercenaries, under the command of the recently revived Colonel Miles Quaritch, who has his sights set on getting even with Jake. After the villains attack Jake's family and house, he removes them from the forest and transports them to the Metkayina clan's residence on Pandora's eastern coast, who have a close relationship to marine life. Loak in particular forms bonds with Zyria and Oona, the kids of Tanawari, the chief of the Metkaina, and Rana. The Omaticaya are taught their ways and welcomed into the Metkaina's home, despite their initial mistrust of them. Additionally, Carrie learns that she has a stronger ability and bond with the creatures. The Metkaina have strong ties to the Talkan, which Quaritch and his colleagues hunt with whalers. As an outcast Talkan named Pyrekan, Loak forms a bond with him. Jake and Neytiri are compelled to fight back when Quaritch and his team start to destroy the Metkaina homestead. The children go to alert Pyrekan, which results in their capture. Many of the whalers are slain as a result of Pyrekan's assistance in the Navy's defense, but Nadium is mortally wounded. Jake pursues Quaritch, who has kidnapped Kiri and Took. Neytiri murders Quaritch's crew as a whole before putting Spider's life at danger to save Kiri, and Quaritch caves because he is the boy's father. While Spider saves Quaritch but abandons him due to his brutality, Loak and Kiri assist their family in reaching safety. The Metkaina accept Jake and his family and grant them permission to remain. By connecting to the Metkaina Tree of Souls, he and Neytiri can view Natiam,